everybody. Welcome back to our YouTube channel here at Meg Academy. I am Brian Gallagher. I am a physical therapist of 30 years, had practice of the year in 2011. Many of you guys already know that. I won't belabor that point. I now lecture throughout the United States at national conventions, state conventions, DPT schools, and do motivational talks. And I am here to motivate you to change what you're doing and actually elevate your game by being a better entrepreneur. I need you to be a better entrepreneur. I need you to be a better leader and thus a better CEO. See, a CEO has the strong components of leadership, which is to lead, educate, and motivate. Okay. A good entrepreneur manager has the strong characteristics and components of organization, management of others through policies and procedures. See, a leader shapes, mentors, grooms, enhances people, okay? And they assemble people around them, bring in and procure the best people that are just perfect blocks of clay, if you will, from a positive nature of using the word block, but positively can be molded, shaped, and modified to be specific to your needs and actually the most successful because of the efficient shaping and fit in the company culture that they become for you. That's what the leadership component is. The manager, the entrepreneur, is more focused on establishing protocols, policies, procedures, and developing those with that great personnel team that has been assembled through the leadership, bringing them in and get them to plug and play with how things run here. Show them what the yellow lines are down the road, and you can drive your car and have some degree of uniqueness and customization and some feel good in there, but you can't go outside the lines. You have to obey these rules. You can't break these policies, because if you break policies and procedures, if there is no rules, you get chaos. Just turn on the news and look at what's happening in major cities across the country. When there is no enforcement, when there is no discipline, you see things start to break down. You see the moral fibers breaking down around you because people think things don't matter. Nobody's saying anything to me. Nobody's holding me in on it or accountable to it. So thus you have problems. In a PT practice, when we bring in personnel, if in the first 90 days you understand as the manager, because this is part 2 of building the best components of a manager, because as an owner, or if you're a startup owner, you're going to run everything for the first 12 to 18 months, but then you're going to start putting a team around you to kind of delegate to and take some of the responsibility off you. So in part 1, we talked about finding that best person, setting up the environment, establishing the structure. Here in part 2, I'm going to talk about standard operating procedures. I'm going to talk about, okay, we have the room, we have the space, we have the equipment, we have the tools, and we have an accountable and responsible person now. Now, what do I do to develop this manager to be the culture leader, if you will, organization mentor, if you think of it that way, right? Because I don't want to go into these business terms, blah, blah, blah. Think about the beingness of this manager. They have to connect and communicate and bring about agreement with others, box 1. Number 2, they have to be clear, concise, and effective through disciplined communication, meaning there's accountability to what I'm saying or orders I'm issuing or directives I'm giving. It just not saying it, and then if you don't do it, I ignore it or I sweep it under the carpet or I don't want to confront you. This manager has to have a high degree of confront. So that's my first tip. If you listen to my podcast, I always give tips for professional success. Hire a manager who has a high degree of confront. What is the definition of that? Anybody who can say anything to anyone, whether they want to hear it or not, and they can deliver it while remaining comfortable in their own skin when doing so, and they do it in manners. So coach your management team, coach your office manager, your clinical directors, your regional managers, your chief operating officers to be like, look, none of this is personal. This is all purely professional. Never talk to an employee and handle a situation that's an outpoint or something that shouldn't be. That's the definition of an outpoint. Never go in addressing that situation thinking that you're sitting there behind the eyes of the person you're talking to, that you're feeling the emotions that that person's feeling. You communicate with them in a way that, look, here's what was needed and wanted. Here's how it should have been done and what I was looking for. Here's what actually happened. Clarify for me why we have the gap between the expectation and the actual deliverable. And do it in manners, be comfortable, be clear, concise. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't be, could we talk? I wanted to ask you a favor. I was looking back at what you did. And, next time, do you think we might be able to? What do you mean you think we might be able to? What? Is this person now holding the keys to the castle? I mean, what are you doing? Now you're empowering your employees. Now you're the effect of your employees. And now you wonder why you walk on eggshells around your staff because of the way you're talking to them, the way you're Look, businesses are never a democracy. If you think everybody's going to be all kumbaya with everything and we're just going to make every decision based on popular vote, then get out of business. Stop doing it, walk out the door and start working for somebody else because that will never work. The group mentality will always be to gravitate to the lowest common denominator, to gravitate to the path of least resistance. They need leadership. They want leadership. 10% of the world population can truly get anything done and create something from nothing. If that's why you went into private practice, is because you had the goal, you had the dream, you had the DNA to be like, I need to build a better widget. I need a better practice. I want it more efficient. I don't like the way my employer is doing it with a heavy-handed fist or overworking us or, cheating the system or, I just don't like the out ethics. Then great. Then start your own practice. We've done 28 startups in the last, 10, 20 months or whatever. I keep saying 28. It's probably 30 by now. We've never had a startup fail. And the reason why that is because we develop your character. It's in you. You have it. It's in there. But you're like either being politically correct to the fault or you're being overhanded. You can go the other way too. But normally I see people just too wishy-washy on stuff. Look, your staff want to know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you want, and how you want it. And then just help them to succeed in getting it. None of this is being mean. None of this is about being an ogre. Not at all. It's about having the character of the ability to confront. How can I communicate to somebody something in a way that I can do it in manners, I can be clear, concise, and it's duplicatable on their behalf? So in order to do that, you need standard operating procedures. First standard operating procedure, number one, there are 3 things that happen when you hire each and every employee. First, new hire orientation. You have to have this is what Meg Academy has. This is the tools we would give you. It's already written, it's already done, and it's fully customizable. So if you want to customize this for your practice, you absolutely can do that. But 85% of all the components that you're going to need to talk about or say or use or administer are right there at your fingertips. I mean, it's already done for you. Just boom, apply it, right? Component number 1, new hire orientation. I don't believe that over 90%, definitely not over 90% of the people you hire know how to be a good employee. Forget about the position you hire them for. They don't know what it takes to be a good employee. They don't know what it means not to be that redheaded stepchild that runs with scissors. They think it's all about them. They think it's all about me, I, what's good for me. Oh, well, look, if that's the case, they're not good to play in your sandbox. They don't deserve a free pass to your private golf course. It's not a public golf course. It's a private golf course. Everyone who works in my companies is by invitation only. And let me tell you, if they snow me on the interview, they will not make it through the 90 days. I will surely be able to identify, is this person more out for themselves? Is this person keep asking for more and wanting more, doing less? Or is this person invested and interested in seeing those people around them do really well and flourish and prosper because they understand if the group succeeds, the individual succeeds. I want people that clicks with them, but I first need to tell them what's it mean to be an exempt employee or a non-exempt employee, what's hourly and salaried, what's the differences, what's acceptable in terms of showing up, 15 minutes early, what's my communication policy, when is it appropriate to send a text? When is it appropriate to send an email? When does it require a phone call or a face-to-face conversation? What don't you send in text? What don't you do any unethical? It's out ethics. It's a lack of personal integrity on so much of the communication that goes out there. We have a rule in our company, and I put a rule in all my clients' companies, that every text and every email requires a response. requires a response. It's a communication cycle. I sent something to you in communication. You need to reciprocate back to me and close the loop. If not, it's a hanging chad, man. It's hanging out there. I don't know what you thought about what I said. I don't know if you're acting on what I said. I don't care if you don't have time to fully get through the email and hit all 5 points I put in it. Just put, okay, got it. We'll respond back once I finish reading it. Good enough. I know you got the email and I know you're working on it. Communication policy. I'm giving you an example, right? That's just an example of what we need as standard operating procedures. A status sheet that shows here's what you're getting paid. Here's the pay for performance that's going to go above and beyond. Sky's the limit. Here's the benefit package you're getting. Here's who you talk to, and here's how you get your time off. Boom, boom, boom. All of what we're going to be shoveling into your living room, dumping off the cash, dumping off the benefits, dumping off the time off that you want. That's what you're getting on that side of the house, right? But hey, you get in your car, leave your garage, you come to work, and you bring something to work. You are obligated to exchange an abundance back with our group. And that means I need 3.75 units per visit because that shows me that you're being productive. It's not about billing. Physical therapists don't bill, but our standard operating procedure is if you can't find the ability or the time or skill set to give an abundance of care with each and every patient, then you're just not practicing at the top of your license. I mean, literally, you're not practicing at the top of your license, and you should be ashamed of yourself. If a patient is staying 55 to 65 minutes in your clinic every single appointment, and you can't get 3.75 to 4 units or more ethically and appropriately per the policies and carrier contracts, then you're just cheating the patient. I mean, you're just cheating the patient, and you're not being a great therapist. Clinical efficiency. Are you 85% efficient per the schedule you were given? If I give you a patient comes in every half hour, patient comes in every 45 minutes. Well, it's very easy for me to mock up a 40-hour work week, take out lunches, 40 hours in the clinic treating people. And if every single slot was full, I would know how many that is. Well, I expect 85% of those or greater to be full every single week. If I'm coaching you and you're a practice owner, you're looking to start a practice, and you want to go on a 1-hour schedule, one patient, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, first, I'm going to say, why are you doing that? That is not in the best interest of any patient. That may be something emotionally you're thinking in your head, but that is not proven statistically. You're not helping as many people in your community. And that's probably just an emotional thing that you're fixated on, but it's not practicing in the top 10%. Because I can tell you this, the top 10% of the best practices in the country do not set that schedule. But let's say you're in the Pacific Northwest, you're making $130 a visit, which some practices do, and they can still afford to, walk around at a brisk walk in their clinics or a nice jog in their clinics per that schedule, right? They're not hustling and they're not jogging and carrying a good 5.0 pace or 6.0 pace on the treadmill like the rest of the country is doing, because they just have a different payment system. So they're just treading to the level of reimbursement that makes it, but those days are numbered. Those are they're going to trickle out in time, and that's not going to be the way it's going to be. So you're going to want to get in with how the best practice is, not only in America, but in the world, Australia, Canada, New Zealand. Take a look. They're not doing that. Now, of course, if you want to do cash-based businesses, cut yourself out of insurance companies and just be a one-man show, knock yourself out. That's what I would do. I would treat them 1 hour. Why would I do anything different? But if I'm playing this healthcare game and I'm in a hybrid model, an insurance model, I'm not doing that. I need to help more people. I need to be more clinically efficient, and I still need to be highly productive. So you're going to have to find a way to do that. And there are 4 tools you can use. So you never violate Medicare rules and you never violate a commercial contract, and you're ethical and you can stand tall, and you won't find yourself wearing orange and black anytime soon because you're doing it right. I have lectured on it 1,000 times at state conferences, and I've found other APTA leaders in our profession lecturing on the same thing, on how you can do that. So by all means, learn how to do that. So standard operating procedures, these are things that are known to all. They're the rules of the road, and they give people comfort. They give your staff confidence that you mean what you say and you say what you mean, that you're not just playing favorites. Oh, I like her. She buys me Krispy Kremes. She laughs at my jokes and she gets the best hours and the best days off, right? People aren't going to trust you because you're waxing and waning and you're just folding over and rolling over for, you're managing by personality. When you hold people accountable to their key statistics that measure their performance, which should be quality of care, efficiency of care, and productivity, right? Which is what I was saying, 3.75 units or greater is production. That's how much I produce in a unit of time with one session. How much therapy can I give to a patient per session? That's going to evaluate, am I practicing at a high level in the production area? Am I 85% efficient on a weekly basis, daily basis? That shows how good I am at my time management, how proficient I am at my work, right? And am I getting good results as spoken by the patient? Patient outcomes in the EMR system, fantastic. I like to see everybody reaching their goals. I'm not belittling that, very important. But you know what? Equally important is, what's the patient feel like? How do they perceive the practice experience? How do they perceive their time with you? That net promoter score is a must at every clinic in America. So there's some standard operating procedures. As a manager, you want to succeed, hold the line. Make sure everyone knows what their position is, what the doingness is that they have to do in their position, and what it results in terms of products. And then how we measure those products statistically, track it on a 3-week trend, and encourage them to get that trend going up and up and up at each and every week, because one week falls off, a new week comes on. If you're mentoring them in that degree and you're leading them there with tools to enable them to be more professionally enhanced and do a better job on those 3 areas, you're being a wonderful manager, and holding the line in the process and being a good communicator, all the better. So that's it. That's what your owners want. They want managers. They want intrapreneurs around them, people who are accountable and responsible. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you like some of the tips. If you want to learn more, click subscribe, come to our website, just go to megbusiness.com. All the information is below. Write comments in. I'd love to answer your comments. We do that. And check it out. If you go to a website, I can do a practice assessment call with you, learn all about your practice, where you want to go, what you're doing now, and how I could possibly help you get there. So that's it, everybody. Expect to do well.